All right, we're here at Canal Media Studios. Welcome to Let's Make Millions. I'm Rob Medved, Bill Raymond. Great guest today.
Oh, awesome. Such a nice person.
Known her for a while. You've known her longer than I have.
Yeah, she was with one of our longer standing clients, Gathy Ranker, for years.
Yeah.
Where she really learned the overall business.
Yeah, Jenny Altshule. She started her own company, women-owned business, called Listicle Studios. She's going to talk about all things direct response, production. She's an incredible executive producer, writer. She's got a great social digital media team. We get into a lot of the confluence between television and social and how that all interacts and the different mediums and what you need to do from a production standpoint and testimonials. And there's a lot of gold in what she has to say.
Yeah, and she gets into, being a female-owned business, of some of the hurdles she's had to work through to, get her name out there and her business out there. And from myself having 2 daughters and Rob having 3,
Yeah.
That goes a long way for us, where we wouldn't think that in this day and age you would have to work through those hurdles, but you do. So it's just, it's a good reminder for us and for, what's out there. So
yeah, great conversation with Jenny Altshule. She has a lot to offer. And we've done a lot of work with her in the past, and so it's a good conversation. As part of Let's Make Millions, we also have a facet called Let's Give Millions, where we support the charity of our guests. In Jenny's case, it's twofold. One, she is a supporter of St. Jude's, which we will be as well, but she also does some pro bono work for women-owned businesses. Awesome. So she helps them market their business. And I mean, that is really good. She's giving her skill set. She's worked on billion-dollar brands in the beauty category, women, driven type product offerings. And she can bring a lot to the table for those women that are starting their own businesses as well. So that's good to hear.
Yeah, it's a great cause.
Yeah. Okay. Well, stay tuned to hear more about our conversation with Jenny Altshule.
Get up on your feet. This is a shakedown. You can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. So good, so fresh.
I'm Rob Medved, CEO of Canal Media. This is my partner, Bill Raymond. And we are very happy to have Jenny Altshule with us today from Listicle Studios. We've done work with you in the past. We've known you for decades, and you are a fantastic and brilliant executive producer and women-owned business, and empowering all the ladies that you work with, and do some really, really good stuff. So we're interested in hearing all about your story and what's going on in the world today. But let's kind of start going back to how you got into this industry. Like, how did you get into direct-to-consumer marketing and into the video side of things?
Totally by accident.
As we all
like
did.
all of us.
All of us, right? I definitely got into this by accident. I started working with someone you guys both know, and I worked at Revenue Frontier. So I started there when it was 6 employees.
Yeah.
So I was their 6th hire. And I had been doing producing, but not in the way that we do it now, right? I was presenting birth mothers with families and adoptions. So producing the letter, what would they love to see? Really find a good match. Like, how do we get people to say the best of themselves in a letter? Because that's so hard to do.
And so this was a letter that was going out to who?
To potential birth mothers. So it was really getting to know the families and getting to know the birth mothers and knowing how to identify the best traits in both of them.
Right.
For them to present to one another. Because, back then you didn't have FaceTime and you didn't have, Facebook and everything else to check out someone's social media. You had one letter, you had one chance to tell someone about yourself and to hit all of the, all the key points that someone needs to see in order to trust you enough.
Yeah. So you were writing that ad copy.
Yeah, I was doing this with all the families and helping them with their letters, picking the right photos, making sure they're, there's not too many kids in the picture, because then it looks like you already have
too many.
Yeah, a fulfilled life, and you don't need this child.
So this was before Rev Frontier.
Yes. So I did that for 4 years before I went to Revenue Frontier.
And how did you find Red Frontier?
Well, I honestly was ready for something else, and I interviewed with Kendra, who you know.
I know Kendra. Hi, Kendra.
Amazing. Yeah. Hi, Kendra. And she, I had such a wonderful interview with her, and I met Greg, and it was a startup, and it was really exciting. We were in Guthy-Ranker. You know, we shared the space with them at the time, and Greg loved Guthy-Ranker. And he passed on that love to all of us, that we really wanted to be part of this community. And so when I got hired there, they really opened the door for me to do so many different things. You know, we got into ad sales. I wrote a radio spot that actually they used at Guthy for like 10 years. And so...
For what? For Proactive?
For Proactive.
Solution, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so that's really where it all started. Me trying to find another avenue to do something in marketing, but wanting to do, I didn't think I wanted to do anything in like direct to consumer sales, but I didn't know enough either.
But what a great, legacy, long-standing, multi-billion-dollar marketing company and culture to grow up in, to understand how to market, especially in beauty.
Yeah,
right. When you look
at
Cindy Crawford's Meaningful Beauty, when you look at Proactive Solution, all the brands that you were able to work on and learn from those guys.
And they share everything with you.
Yeah.
You know, I was at Revenue Frontier for 5.5 years, and I got to work on their live shopping show. I was one of the producers to do the live shopping.
That's awesome.
I did all the photography there, helped write all the bios for everyone, everything that ended up on the Chiron. And so it was really like every single part of advertising I got to be a part of.
Yeah.
Which is great, because you were getting paid, but you were learning.
Absolutely.
And think of all those skills that you learned through the years there that you still apply today, where when you're going through it, you don't think about it. But now today you go, geez, like I was inside the mill doing the work, getting paid for it. It does pay off.
Yeah. And I think when I look back and I think about, I mean, you have to be, like most businesses, you have to be in the business, and you have to learn a lot of facets of the business to really understand it, especially in direct-to-consumer marketing. Totally. And those of us that are still doing it today, it's kind of funny, right? You see all these same basic principles that we've known for a couple decades that are just, that string runs all the way through. And I was just talking to somebody the other day about this. I think in marketing, in direct marketing, you either get it or you don't. You either get how to sell simply, problem solution, mass market, that kind of stuff, or you don't. But it's kind of ingrained in those early seeds of growing up in this business and seeing how everybody else does it, product agnostic. Right?
100%. You know, and then working at Revenue Frontier and doing ad sales for the first couple of years, we also got to see how many calls came in, and then the drag, you know, how many days later are calls still coming in off of that 1-800 number, off of that one airing, and really learning about like the psyche of the customer, how long it really takes them to make that purchase or to call in and get more information.
Yeah.
So that was all really, really helpful. And then working on the live shopping show, I mean, they're selling huge pieces of art for a lot of money. And it's like, what do you have to say to get them to call in?
Yeah.
What did Barry have to say on camera? You know, what information you have to provide on the certificate of authenticity? You know, is this an artist proof? Like, what things? And we were all learning on the fly, to be honest.
It's crazy. And live shopping back in the day was, and it's coming back a little bit in social media. There's some people trying to start this again today. And I think it resonates and it works because you get that live feedback. I remember being like in a green room in one of the QVC or HSN, and for the first time understanding that there's an earpiece and that there's live calls coming in, and when they hit a key selling benefit about a product, it may be, hey, this is great, it solves this problem in your kitchen, what have you, but then they start saying, and grandparents, you should get this for your grandkids, and all of a sudden the phones start lighting up. They say, okay, go with that, stay on that, and then you'll see them take that strand for the next 3 or 4 minutes, and it just lights up the phone lines, and it's like that incredible first-person feedback for direct response that is just, it's fun, you know, it's why we do this
so
stuff.
Fun, and that's exactly what you see in digital advertising, right? You're testing a bunch of opens, a bunch of hooks, what niche is going to call out to everyone, and you're placing them out and you're watching and you're seeing like what are people responding to, and then that's when you start figuring out. But it's that immediate response that you find out in 3 or 4 days. okay, this is our clear winner. These are the people that are reacting to this. These are the people that want this product. And here's what we have to do.
Let's
more
run
of.
with it. Yeah. So let's fast forward. So when we all started, it was really inbound 800 number. And then the web came and everything went online. And now it's completely fragmented. And we have this huge omnichannel space where we have all these social media avenues, right? We can break down all the meta stuff, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest. You're deep into all of that stuff. But we still have the web and we still have television. We have connected television. We have radio. You did a radio spot then that's still relevant today. We've done radio spots here that we've found a lot of success with. So terrestrial, linear, all this stuff. And now we have to deal with the attribution, right? It's not just, we had 500 calls come in on this 800 number that was dedicated to this spot on Fox. Now we have to have pixel integration. We have to attribute all of these orders and find out where that media is performing best. And you're right in the heart of that. And let's talk a little bit about, let's jump to Listicle. So Listicle Studios, what is Listicle? We went over this once already.
So Listicle, when you get an ad on Facebook or Instagram and it says like the top 3 reasons you need this product, that's actually a Listicle.
Gotcha.
It lists out the reasons that you need something or, listing anything basically.
And great direct response, right? Because that's high engagement. People want to understand.
It is. Absolutely. And I was doing a long form. I worked on a long form right before I started digital advertising. That was like the last thing I did in TV when I was doing TV only. It was a long form for Nutrisystem. We were doing short forms too, but very like social media, we had to put in a lot of cell phone footage. We had people shooting at home all the time, more UGC footage. So you could already see that evolution happening there. And so I decided to make the leap because TV was sort of dying at that time, right? That's what it was thought. It was going to die. But now, obviously, we all know it's
not dying,
back.
people.
It's coming back stronger than ever.
Yeah.
More people are watching TV now than ever before, And so to go into digital advertising, not everyone was able to make that leap from TV to digital, right? And I remember going to another startup. I was part of another startup that ended up growing to be one of the biggest agencies.
Tube Science, right?
Tube Science, yes.
Wait, which at one point they were buying more content, I think, on YouTube or Facebook than any other company out there. Like it was
they
insane.
were like 6% of all the ads you saw on Facebook and Instagram.
And that is just content.
Oh, absolutely. And not just that, but it was also like if we were doing direct response.
Yeah.
One of the first conversations I had with them was that they had a lot of senior executive level producers come in and they just couldn't
hack it.
They couldn't do it. And I was like, well, this is really straightforward. It's direct response. And he was like, no, it's not. And I'm like, no, it's direct response. Right? One view, one purchase. Like you want them to react immediately. This is direct response. We got to lean into problem solutions.
It's not brand.
Yeah. And so we did that and it was like everything was winning.
Yeah.
It was just, we were
you
on
applied
such a roll.
those basic principles.
Absolutely.
Right? And it works in digital social so well when you get it right. Because our business is always about stopping a consumer from doing something while they're bored. That's what TV was based in, right? In direct response. People are surfing the channels, finding something to watch because they're bored. If they're engaged and they have destination viewing, you're not going to get them, right? They're into CSI, they're into the NFL game. You can't interrupt that. But if they're bored and they're flipping through wallpaper, digital wallpaper, TV wallpaper, whatever, our job is to say, hey, wait, and try and get that message to resonate. So we're used to getting that, especially now with the thumb rate being so high with some of the platforms like TikTok. It's like boom, boom, boom. You have about, I don't know, maybe 2 seconds, 1 second to get fast. Somebody, no more of the, hey, I'm Rob Medved. Bye. You got a problem solution right away and engage them.
Absolutely. And even, the targeting was so much better back then also.
Well, and because there was none of this like Facebook, Apple thing. So when you started at Tube Science, it was still newer. And there was no privacy issues going on there. None. So you could track people. You could fish in those ponds where you knew that person would be there. Now the game has changed so much.
It's so much more like TV, I feel like. I always say that. This is closer to what TV was before, right? Because you could target as in, I want my commercial to be on this show because I think these viewers are here at this time.
Yeah.
But you weren't doing what Facebook was doing, which was like you barely think of something and that ad shows up.
Well,
in your
now
phone,
it's so
right?
much. Well, and now it's so much more omni-channel because you have to do because the CPMs have increased so much, like on Facebook.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to get everything to work there. But what we're seeing now is if you have campaigns that you're doing on TV as well as Facebook and then also with TikTok, it all combined, it really works.
So that's the secret now, right? And it's not a secret. You've been
It's
saying
a secret, people.
But you have to do omni-channel. No one's trusting a brand that's only appearing in one place.
Right,
You've
right.
got to hit them from, I would say, like some viewers need 32 touch points in order to make a purchase.
Yeah.
And even then, it's a 10-day consideration and sometimes can be as long out as like 80 days. I saw. So it's crazy,
Yeah.
you know?
And when you look at connected TV, it's even longer, right?
Yes. And then, but then now connected TV has made it so much easier to air on television.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what people aren't getting.
Yeah.
Like you can go on TV and people actually trust more ads that they're seeing on TV than they see on social.
And it's all, you know, we've been talking about this convergence of all of this, of you know, of commerce everywhere and content everywhere. And finally we're starting to see it. Like, you know, I wrote that article about Netflix, you know, you got to take ads or die guy.
Yeah.
And they did now. So now they're taking ads. And wow, that's exciting to us, right? Because you know exactly who your consumer is.
Yes.
We get to interrupt that streaming platform. You have all of these streaming providers that are eating each other's lunch, paying tens of billions of dollars for content, but not making the money back. They're going to have to do something. They're going to have to lower that subscription price or get revenue somewhere else. Now they're going to take ads. It's like the nascent place where cable used to be when we first started, right? Where they were like, give me the DR dollars. Once they started taking it, we never went back.
No, they're never going back.
And they're never going back.
Can't.
Yeah.
They honestly can't. And the thing is, I'm also seeing so many bad ads on these streaming channels because people, the same way it was really hard for people to make the jump from TV to digital, it's going to be just as hard for those digital people to make the jump to TV. TV has different elements that are not required in digital.
Yeah.
Right. And even down to like sounds that the commercial makes.
Right.
You know, and it's so nuanced sort of that now it feels like you need to find experts in that aren't doing branding but do direct response, like myself, like you guys.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I see ads and I just think, oh God, this would have been so easy to...
Well, though what's cool about it is that, you know, if you go back like 20 years, we weren't the stepchild. I know that's probably not the word you should use, but like we weren't the cool people in the room. Now, because where we came from, it's front and center. So we know both sides of it, which is such a great place to be.
It totally
And
is.
still not the cool kid in the room.
Well, I am. I don't know about you.
I mean, definitely you guys are.
So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting because we do see a lot of content. You know, if you're going to do, we've worked on a few things together, one of them being Wrinkles Schminkles, right? It was a great brand. Gabrielle down in Australia, we licensed the rights. We did some stuff. We don't have the rights anymore, but great product.
No, it
fantastic.
did great.
Yeah.
Great ROI.
Did great. Yep. And so, but when you shoot television content or connected TV content, it's so different than social. You know, so many brand response people, they try and do it all at the same time. And they're like, okay, now let's shoot vertically and let's get some pickups here and let's do that. It just doesn't work because every platform is so different. Instagram is different than TikTok. Even when you look at Reels versus TikTok video, it's different. It's just for whatever reason, people are expecting something else. And if you're not hitting the right trending music, you're not doing it the right way, it just doesn't resonate.
Oh man, and TikTok music is everything.
Yeah,
right. And so that's another thing you have to think about. But yeah, you're so right. Like we shot so differently for the TV commercial that we did for Wrinkle Schminkles than for the social media stuff that we did, right? They were, even when we tried to use some of the stuff from the TV spot, it really was just a still here or there. It just doesn't resonate. They don't work. You can't just use the same footage. And I've seen that also, them use, you know, footage that's for digital, that's just vertical, just someone talking into the camera. You want to know that when someone's airing on TV that that they're a company that has enough money that
to make a brand, to make a like,
really reputable brand.
That, exactly.
You know, and we all know that there's a huge difference in branded content and direct response content. And what we do is toe the line between the two, right? We want to show that there's quality to the product that we're selling. So we have enough branded elements there for it to look really beautiful, especially in beauty. You can't get away without doing some beautiful graphics and content. But then you also have to have the realness there of the testimonial of, you know, people are getting real results.
I mean, we know this about you, and we know this about the industry, is that, you know, genuine sells. And now more than ever, it's got to be the owner's story. It's got to be like it. Let's talk a little bit about that. So influencer marketing, right? Big buzzword, big catch-all. And we can talk about, you know, the influencers that have agents and they're going to do a post and you're just engaging with their audience on some level. And some of that stuff actually works, positive ROI, but I think very little compared to like going down into where you have people that are genuinely connected to the story of the person that has the followers, whether it's 5,000 or 50,000 or 100,000 people. We've found that that's where you can really uncover some positive ROI from an advertising perspective, right?
Absolutely. The thing with influencers, and I have, you know, new clients always tell me, oh, I'm paying this influencer this much money every month. You know, you can use their content. I'm like, but they didn't hit any of the key selling points. I have zero reasons to believe that this person is actually using this product daily and getting results from it, because they're also shilling 200 other products that other people are paying them for. And I'm not knocking their business. That's a great business. I'd love to do something like that. But when it comes to advertising, when you really want to be genuine, I actually put people on every product that we sell. So I don't just have someone get in front of the camera and read script lines. I actually tell them, please use this product for a week or two. Tell me what you think about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Here are some of the things that we want to capture, but I want to make sure it's your truth.
Yep.
If you don't believe that this product is doing these things for you, then don't say it.
Yep.
I'd rather just have you shoot B-roll for me.
because everybody can sense that, right?
Yes.
The genuineness of a good testimonial is, with the emotion in there, it comes across on film. It just does. And consumers are too smart nowadays. They know the difference between a paid advertising spot. They're always going to know that there's some kind of transactional thing going on here.
Totally.
But if you don't have that genuine testimonial, you're not going to get. It's funny, we run testimonial groups sometimes with you, with Super Sue, and I've put out there before. I've said, hey, there's an incentive here if you can get somebody to cry. Like if you can actually get a pickup where you have somebody actually have true emotion come through. There's a tickler in there, you know,
absolutely.
because it's worth gold.
No, it's true. So we have a client right now has a older long form on that's been on for 10 plus years, probably even longer than that. There's someone that cries in it. It makes the show, like, because like it was hair loss. This person cried. Like, it's amazing.
It changed. It was a female, and it
Especially
changed her life.
With hair loss.
And it changed her life, and she still 10 years later is still in touch with the owner.
It's crazy.
They have a relationship, so it matters.
And you could use them over and over again. I mean, we did that with Sheer Cover, right?
Yeah.
The woman that had the raspberry mark on her face.
Yeah.
It was like life-changing for her.
Yeah.
And everyone felt that when they watched it. And that's why it sold so much product. You know, we did it with Viviscal. I mean, these women were losing so much hair.
Yeah.
That as a woman, that really knocks your self-confidence, right? And so, and one thing I do with all of my user groups is I join the user group with them. And I go on that journey with them every time.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, because how am I supposed to know what they're feeling, what questions they need answered? Because it really helps me also to direct the commercial after also and know how to tap in to get.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I don't want them to cry, but if they're feeling emotional and it happens, exactly, you know, and it does often happen, especially with hair loss, with weight loss.
Yep.
Women that have been struggling so many years to lose weight and you don't get that a lot with wrinkles.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But, you know, because it's more just happy.
This
is awesome. Going to kill it tonight, you know, but.
And let's go back to the influencer marketing piece a little bit, just because what we've all found is there's just this incredible opportunity to, not in a scalable way, not in a repetitive way, not in a, I'm going to buy this much ad, this much ad budget every week on TikTok or Instagram, or I'm going to spend this much money on TV every week and expect this CPM or CPO, CPA, whatever it is. But this world of creating content and hoping that something sticks. Throwing a bunch of spaghetti against the wall, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, one of those pieces of content actually generates a shitload of revenue.
Yep.
And we saw it with Wrinkle Schminkles. We didn't have anything to do with it. we're involved in the product, and this brilliant woman up in Canada that had the marketing rights to Wrinkles up in Canada does a maybe 15, 20 second long TikTok with trending sound, doesn't say a word. She's genuine, direct to camera, and Wrinkle Schminkles is a silicone vegan patch that it's just a silicone
medical grade
silicone patch. She puts it on her forehead, waits, takes it off, wrinkles are gone. That's it.
Yep.
Trending music, it was like $250,000 in revenue. It had 45 million views. That type of zero ad cost, people.
That's what I say, especially TikTok. Organic content is king.
Yeah.
That was organic content. She has access to their account. She does love the product.
Yep.
She's using it. I think they had another one where women put it on an airplane and took it off, and it did really well. Why? Because you're in an airplane. Who would think that someone in an airplane is going to put on a wrinkle patch, but you can hardly see it. So she does it, comes off the plane with fewer wrinkles.
Yeah.
She had 3 hours to kill or whatever it was, and it worked. But then we used that same exact footage in the ads on Facebook and Instagram, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Organic, paid.
Yes.
That's
right. And
that's a great point. There's a difference between the two.
There is such a difference, and we tried, obviously, because
To recreate it.
yeah,
Exactly.
and not only that, to really leverage it, because so many people had already seen it. It was like 50 million views.
Yeah.
People loved it. There was a lot of purchases through there. Why is it not working over here?
Different
but it's
medium,
not?
different time.
Yeah,
It was the trending sound as much as it was anything else. We've seen it time and time again with some of the TikToks and Instagram posts that we've had go viral. We can look back at them sometimes, even as seasoned direct response marketers, and I go, I don't know why that worked. I don't know
feel
why the
that
key
so
selling
much.
benefit really didn't come through. But I think it speaks to the point that it's just, you got to create just a bunch of content.
Yeah, you
Con-
do.
con-
Best
Content-
practices, and something
Yeah.
will resonate.
Well, and then Australia and the U.S. are two totally different markets,
Yeah.
right? So you have things that are really working over there.
Which is where the product came from, yeah.
Exactly. And then we try them here. It just doesn't land in any way, shape, or form. And we're just different customers. And I worked in international forever at Guthrie Ranker. I led all of their international production there. And I still needed a lot of help from the local markets to tell me, hey, actually, if you're smiling when you're talking about your acne, we don't believe you, and they're going to change the channel.
Yeah, so that's great experience.
Yeah.
Right. So you had to know in market, in country, what resonated with that social construct from a direct marketing standpoint. So
Yeah. And I was like,
and
what
you've
do you
worked
mean
on
I want to smile?
You've worked on some massive brands,
Yes.
right? You've worked on $1 billion brands,
Yeah.
up and down the chain,
Everything.
mostly in beauty.
Yeah, mostly in beauty, health and wellness.
Yeah.
Worked with Fabletics, Third Love. We worked with all of them when they were small also. So to grow those out, I mean, we were really proud with Third Love, especially because we were like, what was Victoria's Secret? Was it's a man, and aren't you tired of men telling you what kind of bras to wear? They didn't make this.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So the glass ceiling in business, you break out, you start your own company.
Yeah.
And you'd think, being a women-owned social media, beauty-based, with billions of dollars of experience under your belt, that it would have been easier, and it hasn't been as easy.
No, it has not.
Right? And so,
Yeah.
I mean, part of that is just starting a business is difficult.
It is.
But it does seem that there is a glass, there is a glass ceiling. It's funny because we talked about this, and then I went online and I Googled, what are the biggest beauty brands in the world? Okay. This is about $200 billion worth of revenue. And it's L'Oreal, it's Procter & Gamble, it's Estee Lauder. The top 6 brands, $250 million. Not one of them is run by a woman.
No. And
I was shocked. I was like, well, there's somebody, I'm like, L'Oreal has to be run by a woman. Some of those product and P&G lines have to be run by, I'm like, we're still here. And I get marketing, maybe women telling, helping guide women what they should look like and what they think resonates. But I was
you'd be
pretty surprised.
They're not. I mean, I met with a company that did period underwear.
Yeah.
And it was all men.
Yeah.
And I sat there thinking to myself, how do they know how to market to women period underwear?
Yeah.
I mean, and quite honestly, a lot of these companies, when they see a panel full of women, which by the way has been accidental. Yes, I'm a woman founder.
Yeah.
But I happen to have a lot of really great women in our team. I have great men in our team also, but they're not front facing.
Yeah.
And I've had companies be a little bit resistant to this.
It's just amazing. You know, like, God, can we please take gender out of this whole equation at some point?
Yeah. I was telling Bill, you know, when he asked me to be on this podcast, I was like, are you kidding? Absolutely. Like, you guys made it look like it was going to be easy for me, because we met when I first started the company. You guys totally signed on right away and we're like, let's do this. Let's do TV commercials. Let's do digital ads. And you guys have been nothing but kind and supportive to my entire team. Yeah. And I really thought, oh, this is just the first of many that are going to be like this, because obviously, men must want women's opinion and want to know, how do we market to other women? And that has not come easy at all. And I actually even had one instance where I knew someone that worked at the company, and this is a makeup company for women. Mm-hmm. And I met with the guy, and he tells me, well, you know, for the same price, I could use this other company. And I said, right, but that company isn't going to give you any new content. They're not going to watch your ads. They're not going to give you the full service that we offer, and you have terrible footage. They're editing your bad footage now. And we hung up, and it was the same price. And he told the controller there that I knew, there's just something about the other team that I like better. Mm-hmm. And she was like, is it that there was no men on their team? Yeah. And he's like, I want to say it's just that, but partly. Yeah. And I was shocked. That was my first time hearing that. And I was actually really, really shocked. And you know what? They didn't do well after that. The business just kept going down. And I was like, well, rightfully so, because you actually don't have anyone managing your marketing campaign. And you don't have anyone that actually cares about how your ads are doing. Because they're getting paid monthly regardless of performance. Right.
Well, and it speaks to the fact, forget that you're a woman, that just you have all of this beauty experience under your belt. Like, if you were a man with all this beauty experience under your belt, I would say it's the same thing. So totally. it was a little bit bringing into the conversation, because a little bit, I didn't think about that. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. Yeah.
Well, I didn't think about that before I did it. I actually thought, well, I'm going into beauty and lifestyle. How hard is this going to be?
But I mean, like, even take gender out. It's hard to take gender out when it's like like you're selling something focused at a female. Like, you have more insight than we do for the most part. Now, don't get me wrong. If someone has sold beauty and they know beauty, of course they see it. But it's weird to me that like someone wouldn't like want to knock on that door and get you involved because of your experience and because you're a woman. Like, to me, it's like a win-win.
Yeah. Well, if you have a beauty brand and you're looking for
a
woman-owned business that knows their shit, Listicle Studios. But it's funny because I then went on and I said, okay, who are the top influencers, revenue-generating influencers in social media? It's almost all women. Yeah. It's almost all women. Women have the purchasing power. They own the wallet, 45 plus especially. And especially in the beauty category, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it resonates so well on social media. It's really what it's about. Yep. And you look at what the Kardashians have done brilliantly, and Ariana Grande and Selena Gomez, whoever it may be, all the way down to the smaller influencers that are even stay-at-home moms that are making six figures, empowering other women and giving them advice and all this stuff. That construct has broken down, and it's been disrupted to that gender ceiling to a degree there. Yeah. But in what we do, it still exists.
Still a bit of a boys' club.
Yeah, as you sit with two guys.
No, you guys are incredible. But women are also purchasing not just for themselves, but for their children, for their parents, for their spouses. And so that's why I say it's like a category you don't want to miss. We've been working with a brand that still hasn't come to market. They've been testing, but it's male underwear.
Okay.
And he loves our opinion on things. And
Yeah.
he's definitely like, I just love showing up and seeing all the girls on the
There's that.
But, you know, I give it to him for just being honest. But
Yeah.
he honestly, he really likes our opinion on it too, because he says, yeah, a lot of women are buying these for their boyfriends, for
Yeah.
their husbands, you know, hopefully not for their dads, but like, you know,
Yeah.
That'd be weird.
That would be weird. But, you know, he really loves our opinion on it. And he's like, I want to know if girls like these, if they
Yeah.
think they're sexy, if they, you know, because so many other underwear in that category have sort of funny patterns on them and stuff, even
Yeah.
though they're supposed to be more comfortable. And he's really trying to go more for like the James Bond of,
Yeah.
you know, boxer briefs. But I love that he's taken a chance on us and that he comes to us and he's had us consult for his business, you know. And I think that there are a lot of great companies out there, and there's a lot of great men out there like you guys. They're like, hey, let's get some women involved with these female brands, you know, to help us get to the next level, because that's
Yeah.
what we're about, right? Helping market brands scale.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, we wouldn't be doing it if you weren't fantastic at what you do, right?
Thank
like
you.
that's got to be the
Thank you.
underpinning thing. Is
Well,
that,
absolutely.
but-
yeah.
but-
Things are starting to perform better again.
Yeah.
You know, we're seeing a positive ROI straight across the board
Yeah.
right now. And as a business owner, when you fail, it hurts more than when you're working someplace, right? And you're like,
Yeah.
what do we need to do to make this right?
right.
We are so heavily invested in the success of the clients that we work with. And so to finally see a bit of an upswing and to see everyone, you know, seeing at least a 30% profit right now, it takes being everywhere. It's taken us being on YouTube, being on Pinterest even
Yep.
for certain brands. You know, we do these dryer balls. They have to be on Pinterest or else if you're not seeing them everywhere, it doesn't count. You know, omni-channel, that's what
Yep.
we're talking about. And I think it's also important to find companies that really do know each one of these spaces well. Because like you said, it's experience,
Yeah.
but not just experience. It's also having a history of success in each one of those markets.
Yeah.
is super
And they have to be
important.
willing to deploy, you know, test budgets in every one of those channels in order to lift the boats in the entire sea, right?
Well, you've got that ratio of prospecting and retargeting, right?
Yeah.
That's so important when you do any type of digital advertising. And it's how big is your audience pool right now? Was it the right audience pool, or did you go too wide?
Yeah.
You know, you want them to convert as much as possible. And so I always say like the first 90 days of any campaign is a lot of prospecting.
Mm-hmm.
Heavier on prospecting, heavier on building that out with the right people.
Right. Building your lookalike audiences, understanding who they are, what's
Absolutely.
resonating,
Getting
and
those
then
client
going
lists,
deeper.
getting
Yeah.
those emails,
Yeah.
you know, because it takes way more than just the ads. Like
Yeah.
that's how we get the traffic to the site. But
Right.
you have to be able to convert that traffic
Yep.
once they
Yeah,
get
yeah.
there.
It's funny, like top of funnel, bottom funnel has almost been disrupted as well, because top funnel
Totally.
no longer is like branding even. It's right.
Yep.
It's like brand response. Like it is that prospecting part.
Yeah.
And the conversion still is the lower funnel, but the top funnel is really not even up here anymore. It's kind of like right mid is
Yeah.
where you start.
And like what you were saying, you know, you're throwing spaghetti at the wall. You have to make sure that your messaging isn't so disjointed that when they get to the website, they're like, wait a second, this is not
what
what
is
I was
this?
signing in for.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, what is this?
Yeah.
So it's always that tightrope. But yeah, I just wanted to say it is actually, things are looking more positive, and I
Yeah.
hope it's the same way
No,
for
same.
you guys,
Yeah.
you know, and
It
so
is.
it's a good time if you were a product with more than one product, I think
Yeah.
is key.
Yeah.
Too many people go out with a single product. And
Yeah.
You're like, well,
Yeah.
where do you go from there?
Tough.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome talking to you.
Oh,
fantastic.
likewise. No.
Much success, Listicle Studios. This is great.
Thank you. Thank
so
you.
much good direct response advice and nuggets in there. And we'd love to continue working with you. We will. A lot of stuff coming
likewise.
down the pipe.
Yeah, you know, I have always enjoyed our relationship.
Yes.
I look forward to expanding on it, and I really look forward to you helping me get into Soho
Soho
House because I have failed on my own.
Plug.
Thanks so much for
Yeah,
having me.
it was great seeing
I
you.
always like being here with you.
Yeah.
So good, so fresh.
For more content like this, subscribe to Let's Make Millions and get alerts for all future episodes.